let us not try to learn a lot of static stuff on a particular topic and ignore the current affairs and its linkage with static. The current affairs and static linkage you must be hearing again and again. But how do we apply it? It is very important for you to know at the starting of your preparation. That is what we are going to delve into a much deeper level in this particular webinar. Hello, everybody. So, I hope you all are having a great time. Now, in the year 2021 and 2020, as such, a particular theme was particularly in news in current affairs that year. That was cryptocurrency. And the news which surrounded this particular theme included, as you can see, the Economic Times covered it as cryptocurrency crowned as the top performing asset class of 2020-21 with 800% return. Then Investopedia and other national newspapers covered it as the turnaround of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as an economic asset. And then there was another news making the rounds which talked about RBI ban on cryptocurrency transactions and the subsequent regulatory aspects of it. So essentially, a student or an aspirant that year focused his or her study in the current affairs on these particular two news items. And the topics they tried to cover was the regulatory aspects of cryptocurrency and the impact it would have on Indian economy and what role will it play in the economic side. Now, if you look at the science and tech part as well, some of us also covered it as the blockchain technology and how blockchain technology works. Now, UPSC that year asked a particular question on cryptocurrency, but it was at variance with what we prepared. The question which UPSC asked came in General Studies Mains Paper 1. And the question specifically focused on the impact of cryptocurrency on global society. And it asked you to analyze if it has been affecting Indian society as well. So now if you see the current affairs preparation, we didn't lag anything as such. It creates a mirage for us. हमें लगता यही है कि हमने प्रिपेयर कर लिया है ये टॉपिक और करंट अफेयर्स के टॉपिक्स के हिसाब से ही प्रिपेयर किया है. बट स्टिल व्हेन यूपीएससी आस्क्स दैट क्वेश्चंस तो उसका डायमेंशन यहाँ पे सिग्निफिकेंटली अलग होता है. And that is the reason why we miss out on a number of aspects in the exams and consequently the marks. So I want to establish one thing here is current affairs and what we are preparing has to be multidimensional. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nishith, and we are going to talk a bit about the webinar which we are going to have tomorrow. Now, let us take one more topic. Now, this is a topic which UPSC clearly mentions in GS Paper 1 syllabus and talks about role of women and women's organizations. So clearly, there's a lot of static material and books which might be available in the market, especially with regard to this topic. But if we see the questions which UPSC has asked over the period of last 4-5 years, first is discuss the effects, both positive and negative, of globalization on women. Now, coming back to our syllabus, globalization is again a topic in GS paper 1. So essentially, it has tried to merge these two topics. And when you're writing an answer on the impact of globalization of women on India, one thing we which you are going to put your bets on, और इफ आई कैन से कि आपका आंसर मोर और लेस आप जो डिपेंड करोगे आपके करंट अफेयर्स के कंटेंट पे ही. Similarly, if you see a question which was asked in 2018, women's movement in India has not addressed the issues of women of lower social strata. So this will have an historical element, but will again have a broad understanding, a general awareness of the current affairs of the present times. And if you see the fifth question in this particular list of questions, it will talk about examine the role of gig economy in the process of empowerment of women in India. If you remember the year 2020, which was the COVID year, gig economy really came to the fore. And again, it had the similar approach in the exam which the aspirants took, preparing about the gig economy, its effects, what effect will it have on the national income, and all the economic stuff. But the question came as a part of empowerment of women in India. So one thing we are very clear on this is, let us not try to learn a lot of static stuff on a particular topic and ignore the current affairs and its linkage with static. अभी ये वाला particular चीज, the current affairs and static linkage, you must be hearing again and again. But how do we apply it? It is very important for you to know at the starting of your preparation. That is what we are going to delve into a much deeper level in this particular webinar. Then we will be discussing some of the problems which you might face, or as I say, Pandora's boxes, which you might face during your preparation phase in the coming 1.5 years. First, we discussed briefly about it now, that is overwhelming content. अभी content अगर ज्यादा है, what is important is you take out the relevant content out of the entire ambit. That is what we call as relevance filtering. What is this? We will delve into it at a much deeper level in the webinar. Then obviously we will be looking into balancing static with dynamic. And then we will be going into what are those resources which will really help you during your preparation for the next 1.5 to 2 years. Fine. Then we will take a immersion kind of thing where we will be discussing what are the problems you might face during the examination phase. There are three major problems which usually aspirants face and compromise their mains exam. First is difficulty in retention, since you have a lot of content. Then you have the time management during exam, where you have to write a specific number of words in a particular amount of time, which ultimately results in lack in completion of paper. How do we avoid this and still write adequate amount of content? This is something which, if you are aware at the start of your preparation, it is going to help you leaps and bounds in getting a rank. Next, we will be talking about the two skills which we at Civilsdaily promote at a huge level, and we will be trying to give you a glimpse into it. First is the art of discernment. Now, what is the art of discernment? It's the art of leaving out a few stuff and still feeling confident of getting complete marks. Then the skill two, which we will be talking about, is analyzing a particular topic from multiple dimensions, just as we saw in the case of gig economy and cryptocurrency. Essentially, it's a current affairs topic which has been asked by UPSC for you to analyze it from a static point of view. In that case, this particular skill is very, very important. That is the art of multidimensional analysis. Then we will be taking a perfect example and try to analyze how we can master these two skills. This will just be an example of what you are going to learn with us in the coming 1.5 years. We'll be taking a particular example on the crumbling infrastructure and the urban development in India. And while reading this article, we will be trying to solve questions from this particular article across GS 4 papers. Such as अगर ये urban development के बारे में है, then we will be trying to analyze if GS paper 1 में क्वेश्चन आता है तो हमारा अप्रोच क्या होना चाहिए. Similarly, अगर ये GS 2 में आता है, then how should we approach this particular question from the aspect of polity and governance? And accordingly, we'll see GS 3 and GS 4. So I am really hoping to see a lot of new aspirants in this particular webinar, where we will be discussing and touching upon 4 essential problems which an aspirant is likely to face during their preparation phase. Thank you.